Yeah. Roberta in the truth zone, mic hitting raw. Spotlight shining, she exposing the flaw. Debunking the myth, breaking their facade. This is Glass City, respect the squad. On these NYC blocks where the skyline flex big. Roberta Glass slicing lies with a truth rig. Innocence frosters, your stories unravel. She's a map through the madness of gritty gravel. Glass don't bend and facts don't break. She's a storm that's called, you feel the quake. Exposing tales stitched with crooked seams. Justice in the lens, shattered fake dreams. Screams about killers, painted heroes in disguise. She burning propaganda with fire in her eyes. No glamour for the guilty, she call it straight. She backs victims, the voice stay awake. Stats and receipts, no spin, no clutter. Cold cases whisper, she cuts through the mutter. Truth's her tempo, don't confuse the beat. She standing for the real while you taking a seat. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to play. She's glass hard, break the false and save the day. True crime's a block, facts the artillery. Spinning those lies, yo, she checks that misery. Tabloid tales get smashed, no time to...
Okay, welcome back, friends. I feel like this is a live stream of Friends. Certainly a smaller story. Thanks for joining me. Hello, Tater Bug. Thank you for moderating. Hello, Dark Side. Nice to see you. Hello, Dean Walker. Where have you been? Hello, Myrna. Haven't seen you in a while either, I feel like, but maybe you've been here and I'm forgetting. All right. Yeah, just as chickens. This is just a smaller story. I'm taking a little bit of a break just for tonight. I've been putting together, I mean, if you haven't seen, I've been like throwing out one short after the next. Hey, Susan Hicks. I've been throwing out one short after the next. Hold on one second.
How long is this show supposed to be?
I don't know. I've been throwing out one short after the next for my second interview with Brendan Kane, infuriating the free Karen readers left and right. Some good shorts, so check them out from that interview. Hi, Doris. Hi, Maestro. Hi, PK. But I wanted to go back to a real case I covered a long time ago. I watched the entire trial. This is with John Lewin as lead prosecutor in this case. This is, of course, the case of Robert Durst. And he was on trial for the murder of Susan Berman. He was convicted. He died shortly after he was convicted, Robert Durst. And in California, unless your case goes through the appellate, the appellate kind of process, it gets totally vacated. So I think it proved its point. Robert Durst would have spent the rest of his life. He spent much of the rest of his life in prison. He spent much of his life, at the end of his life, in jail, in a wheelchair with these high-priced lawyers. Really couldn't do much in this case. But I consider one of his accomplices, that's the way I don't know, his murderer groupies. It was a woman who worked for a friend of his, PR firm for realtors, like builders, how do I say it, in New York. She worked for him and she desperately wanted to meet Robert Durst, did, and befriended him. She sent him large amounts of cash in a suitcase. And she said she didn't know what was in it. Well, look at her testimony, this real unbelievable testimony. Her name is Susie Giordano. She is still grifting off of Robert Durst after his death. That is what we're going to talk about today. How do you grift off a murderer's murder and wealth after they're dead. Well, Susie Giordano seems to have found her niche on eBay. We're going to talk about it. We're also going to look at her testimony. Really, this is like one of these really jaw-dropping, unbelievable testimonies when someone decides to lie on the stand just so blatantly, and you're just watching them make lie after lie after lie, in my view, just my opinion, and get caught up in their lies and change their story as it suits them on their stand. I mean, have you ever wondered why guilty people don't take the stand? Here's a good example. We're also going to look at my interview with the prosecutor, John Lewin, and talk about how he prepared for this. It's actually a direct examination. It comes off more as a cross-examination, but one of John Lewin's, he's also known as the king of the cold cases. His specialty is cold cases, no body cases. He's a prosecutor in Los Angeles who has been on this show many times as a guest. He talked about how he prepared for this testimony, and one of his techniques is to take what would be a defense witness as his witness. So this is not a cross-examination, although it feels like one. It's actually a direct examination. It's a really fun one to watch. I mean, I just thought, let's have some fun tonight. Let's blow off some steam. Let's watch Susie Giordano's amazing cross-examination together, have a little fun, have something a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit less heavy and serious tonight, but also have like a real discussion about these morally vacant people who support murderers. And in this case, I think financial gain was the most of the motivation, almost entirely all of the motivation, but she also seemed to be just desperate for some excitement in her life. And to feel like, you know, she had this, what you could only say is an emotional affair with Robert Durst. They were planning to have a love nest together at one point. She talks about it in her direct. We'll look at it. And while she was married to, I believe, her second or third husband, forgive me for not remembering exactly whether it was her second or third husband, and she had kids, but she got more money out of Robert Durst, who was notoriously cheap, than anyone. And so before we, let's actually look at some of her testimony so you'll get a flavor for it. Then we can look at a little bit. This will be a little bit like ADD theater. Dean Walker, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you for supporting the channel. Like I said, this channel really is viewer supported. This is I demand to stick to the truth and the facts on these cases. And I appreciate everyone who supports the channel, and for a totally victim-centered view of true crime, which is really so rare these days. I don't see many people doing it, if any. If there's someone out there with a really victim-centered channel that's not supporting any guilty killers, not grifting off of any guilty killers case, not one, I haven't seen it yet. And I find that really disappointing. Let us look first at her testimony. So this is during COVID. This is Susie Giordano. She comes in, and at the end of this testimony, she says she can't believe she's being held over for another day. She lives in New Jersey. And she says, I need my medication. So let me know if you think she's maybe having some kind of withdrawals, or if that was just some kind of line. Is she on something on there? I don't know. John Lewin uses 2 hearing aids. Didn't hear that. We actually talked about it in one of our interviews. But you think, she's like, I can't come back tomorrow. But Oh wait, let me just show you. I'm going cart before the horse. So she's grifting on eBay. She's selling art. I'm so excited to get to her testimony. I'm bearing the lead here. She's selling art. And thank you, Little Lee on X. You watched this whole trial, talked about it on this show. Clued me into this. She's Susie's Arts and Gifts. Here's her original ACO art card, The Three Witches and Cat. This is her art. What do you think of it? For $3, you can buy it. And she lists herself as Robert Durst artist. And then she's selling other things like children's toys. It's really so odd. Yorkie dog lover playing cards. But in that, she's selling her art, her murder-inspired art. So is that supposed to be, did the three witches have anything to do with the two women and the one man Robert Durst killed? Is she one of, is she a witch with Robert Durst? Does it have anything to do, or is it just, I don't know. Let me know what you think she's thinking. Let's go back to her testimony. Here's her testimony in the Robert Durst trial. Let's watch it together.
Before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes, thank you. Please be seated. For the record, please state and spell your first and last name.
Susan Giordano, S-U-S-A-N, middle initial T, last name Giordano, Giordano.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you so that you can be heard to speak directly into that microphone. You can tilt it up, pull it closer to you, and why don't you do those things? Yeah, you talk right into that microphone.
Okay, good, better? You can all hear me?
We'll see how it goes, but all right. Mr. Lewin, you may proceed.
And I'm going to try to keep my voice up. If my voice is down, if people can raise their hand. I can see you guys now because you're not behind me. So I'll glance over there to make sure I'm keeping my voice up. Ms. Giordano, if you don't hear me either, because I'm not used to the mask either, if you don't hear me, let me know and I will repeat myself, okay?
Yes.
And the one other thing is that I know it's maybe a little uncomfortable. Pull that mask up high so it doesn't slip down. Otherwise, I'll have to keep reminding you. Like that, that's good. All right.
If you pinch the little nose thing on top, it'll.
Okay. I want to,
Pinch it together. There's a little wire thing.
Okay. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay. Better.
May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes.
This was such a nightmare during COVID. I had two trials I went to during COVID. One was Ghislaine Maxwell, and every time in Larry Ray, it was like this. For the big Larry Ray, yeah, I think both of them. The beginning of Ghislaine Maxwell, we could wear any mask we wanted. And then I believe by the end it switched to only N95 masks. And Larry Ray was the same. And just to sit in court all day with these masks on, it's intense. You're concentrating really hard on the testimony, not missing anything. It's all new to you. And just to be like, just breathing your, like this kind of close air for hours and hours, it just makes it extremely uncomfortable. I'm not nostalgic for that time.
Ma'am, where do you currently reside? I don't mean your address, but the city and state are sufficient.
Campbell Hall, New York.
And how long have you lived in Campbell Hall, New York?
13 years?
And is it fair to say that you're from the East Coast?
Yes.
And when did you get to California? Meaning, when did you came to California yesterday? It's not a trick question.
No, okay. Yes, I flew in yesterday.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
Art teacher.
And how long have you been doing that?
10 years.
Do you recognize I'm going to point to this person?
Wait, she's teaching people art? Is Woody Allen right? Those that can't do teach? I'm not a good artist myself, particularly. But I feel like maybe, I don't know. I feel like maybe I could make something more compelling than this. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. She's an art teacher. It's so disturbing, the characters we have teaching our children, isn't it? I'm a part-time murderer groupie. I grift off of Robert Durst, helping him try to get away with his murders, and then I teach art too on the side. Oh, whoa.
And I want to ask you, and Mr. Durst, for the record, has just lifted his hand up and waved to the witness, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Ma'am, do you consider yourself...
Is she talking to herself? She's like, numb. That's what I hear through my headphones like this. I'm numb. Like, what is she doing on the stand? Truth and justice. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you before. I'm going to make sure I did. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. What's going on?
As you sit up there today, to be an unbiased witness,
Yes.
do you agree that you have strong feelings towards Mr. Durst?
Yes.
Do you believe that in any way those strong feelings potentially prevent you from being as unbiased as you would like?
I am unbiased. Yes, I am totally.
So this is a technique that's pretty crafty of John Lewin. He talks about, he says, the way lawyers are taught, my interview with him, is wrong. He says they're taught to control the question, that the question is everything and the answer doesn't matter. He said that's so arrogant. The point is to ask the questions of which there is no good answer. So what is the good answer to, are you a totally unbiased witness? When you're close with Robert Durst, if you say, yes, I'm totally biased because I'm helped Robert Durst try to get away with his crime, now you're useful to the prosecution in that way. So anything that the defense might use will be helpful. It won't be helpful to them, excuse me. Or if you say, no, I'm not biased, then you're going to get impeached like 3,000 times, which she does. So just a little note on his technique there.
Unbiased.
Let me ask you,
My feelings are not.
You have several children, is that correct?
Yes.
I want you to assume for a moment, if one of your children were sitting in Mr. Durst's seat, would you still consider yourself to be unbiased? Grounds?
You may answer.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself to be unbiased even if one of your children were sitting
Yes.
there? So in essence, your position is that no matter who is on trial, it doesn't matter for you if you're sitting up there, you are a completely unbiased witness.
Yes.
How would you describe your current relationship with Robert Durst?
We were very dear friends. We don't speak very often now, but he's a very dear friend of mine.
And when you say friend, would that be the extent of what you would call the relationship?
It's platonic. Yes, is that?
And when you say platonic, can you define what you mean by that?
We don't have a relationship in that where other people have, like, we're best friends. I don't understand. Platonic is best friends with someone.
I mean, obviously, Mr. Durst is in custody, so you could not have a sexual relationship with him now because he's in custody, correct?
And I did not in the past.
So if I were to ask you, do you consider you and Mr. Durst have in any way a romantic relationship, what would be your answer?
We do not have a romantic relationship.
Have you ever had a romantic relationship?
No.
And have you always in the past said that your relationship with Mr. Durst was purely platonic?
Yes.
You've been asked this numerous times, is that correct? The nature of the relationship? Oh, you need to answer out loud because the court reporter, you're nodding, but she can't.
Can you repeat that?
Sure.
Sorry.
You've been asked numerous times in the past that exact question, the nature of your relationship, and you've said that it's platonic. Is that right?
Yes.
You said it was platonic when you were interviewed on March 16, 2015, correct?
Correct.
You said it was platonic when you were interviewed on April 18, 2015, correct?
Correct.
You described it as platonic when you testified in court under oath on February 15, 2017. Is that correct?
Correct.
As you sit here right now, ma'am, I just want to give you one more opportunity. Is it still your position
Yes.
that, well, I need to finish my question. I think I know what the answer is going to be, but let me just finish if you can. So the court reporter, so what you're doing, and it's completely normal, but witnesses, when you understand where my question is going, you're kind of cutting me off and I can't finish. And the problem is the court reporter has to get it down. So if you can wait completely till I stop talking. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I just want to ask you, if I say right now,
I would say she's no dummy. So she comes off like maybe a little eccentric or dumb, but I'd say that there's a reason why she's doing this. She's trying to throw him off his rhythm. She knows that the court reporter can't answer these things, can't write them down, and it will delay. She wants to do anything but delay the immediate hardship of having to answer these questions. Technique that Robert Durst also used when he used a tablet, saying that he couldn't hear very well, a little bit like Donna Adelson's earphones that she used, that he couldn't hear very well, so he needed a tablet up there to read John Lewin's questions during cross-examination. And when he got a particularly tough question, he took an awful long time to read it and answer it. So it gave him some time to think about his answers because his story was concocted or lies or lacked candor, whatever you want to call it. And he needed to take some time before he could answer it, think about how it would play with the rest of his lies.
do you in any way want to change your assessment of the relationship as to being more than just friends or platonic?
No,
Do you love Bob Durst?
absolutely.
Have you told him repeatedly that you love him?
Absolutely.
Do you tell him repeatedly in phone calls that you miss him?
Yes.
Do you talk about in the numerous phone calls you've had with him spending the rest of your lives together?
Yes.
Do you talk about living together in the same house together?
Yes.
And is it your opinion, ma'am, that that is the definition of a platonic, just friendly relationship?
Yes.
Have you previously told Andrew Jarecki? You spoke to him 2 different times, is that correct?
Spoke to Andrew Jarecki a lot.
You were filmed speaking to him 2 different times, is that correct?
Yes.
And you knew the cameras were going, it was filmed, correct?
Yes.
One of those was on March 10th, 2014, correct?
So they're talking about Andrew Jarecki, the director of the Jinx and the Jinx Part 2. I actually like the Jinx Part 2 a lot more than the Jinx Part 1. Thought it was a lot more interesting.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I don't know the exact date, but yes, if you.
And the other one was literally the premiere, the night of episode 6, the finale, the day after Bob Durst had been arrested. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you recall telling Mr. Jarecki in 2014 that there was nobody who was closer to Bob Durst, including Bob Durst's wife, than you?
I never mentioned his wife.
Did you
So
say?
I don't know.
Did you say specifically, ma'am, where you asked the following question? But it seems like there's nobody closer from what I can tell. It seems like there's nobody closer than you. And you responded, no. Meaning you're the closest one to him, correct?
I would, yes, as friend, we never brought up his wife. So I think I am very, very close.
So she's another criminally minded, dark personality who attached herself for financial gain to Robert Durst. Here's what John Lewin said about how he prepared for this interview. Let's take a listen together.
Put the clips together. I would say I want this clip, and Ethan would pull it and have it ready, etc. So we had thousands of clips pulled on this case, and then I would make out my examination plan. Bob Durst's cross-examination plan was more than 200 pages. Susie Giordano's was, I think, around 100 pages. And so I knew exactly where I was going to go. So one of the things with Susie Giordano was that I wanted to get Susie to say that the suitcase was empty when she got it. And at trial, she fell right into the trap and admitted.
I want you to assume for a moment that those envelopes contain roughly $115,000, that they were inside the suitcase when the FBI opened it.
Yes, that's what I was told.
Do you know how that got there?
I would assume it was in there. I didn't put it in there.
Well, ma'am, you just testified that you took 2 empty suitcases and you put clothes inside.
I did. I just threw everything in. Like I said, my car was running. She had video. I was in there for probably 3 minutes, and I threw some stuff in, and I ran before I would get towed.
So, ma'am, let me
I
show
think
you.
there were papers, honestly, in there. I didn't know. I even told the FBI agent that.
People's 19, excuse me, ma'am. When you open the envelope, do you see that? Was that in the suitcase when you packed it?
Did not look through anything. You would not see a fingerprint. Nothing on there. Is I didn't touch anything.
220.
Fingerprint, DNA, there is nothing I touched.
It's a lot of cash, isn't it?
So maybe she wore gloves. This is like a way that people lie. You won't find my fingerprints on it. She admitted to packing the suitcase. This is when Robert Durst was on the run after the Jinx, when he had that creepy mask. The Jinx Part 2 hadn't been made at the time of this trial.
Yes, it is.
So, ma'am, can you explain how roughly 100...
Actually, I don't know if it had been made or not, but it wasn't out. And I think a lot of these interviews were done for the Jinx Part 2 after the trial.
$15,000 worth of cash got into an empty suitcase that you yourself testified you
Do you want one? Do you want one?
Like I said, if it was in there and there were papers
Do you
in
want
there
one?
already, I didn't go through any papers. I didn't touch.
Do you have my ID?
Whatever you like.
Oh, yeah.
I did not touch those envelopes.
Ma'am, that's why I asked you first if they were empty twice.
I didn't. It was dark. I was in his apartment.
Ma'am? So,
Where's the ID?
you testified, ma'am, that the suitcases were empty, correct? You just testified to that 5 minutes ago, is that right?
Yes, I didn't look in the bottom. It was a tall
Thank you.
suitcase. I literally
show
was
up?
in the building. There was video for 3 minutes. I swear on my life. I took a few things. They weren't neatly packed. I threw them in there and I left. And if
Ma'am?
there were papers in there, I'm sorry I didn't look.
Ma'am, I just want to ask you,
I would have told them anyway.
ma'am, you're saying that's what happened, correct?
That is what happened.
I want to ask you, if you were listening to that story yourself.
Objection, Your Honor,
If
352.
I can finish my question as the court has
Oh,
said.
these are the crappy ones.
Ma'am,
Yes.
These aren't as good.
would you agree, ma'am, that even if your position is
I'm going to
Because
go
that's
through
what
these
happened.
fast. 'Cause they're
that
not
in
as good.
listening to the story, it does not sound very reasonable?
They're not the good ones.
No.
So to you, it sounds like a reasonable story that you took an empty suitcase that had nothing in it, that You packed it yourself, and then $115,000 turned up in that suitcase underneath the clothing, but you didn't know it was there. That sounds reasonable to you.
It's reasonable because it's what happened.
Once she said that, and then I would say, and so you took that empty suitcase and she would say yes, yes, yes. And I know that the guillotine is coming because obviously if the suitcase was empty when you started, how'd the money get there? It was very clear that she was completely lying. You know, she has gotten, the evidence shows that Bob gave her somewhere probably around $500,000. So all of the cutesy stuff she would do and the crying, etc. She's a pretty good actress.
I didn't think so at all. I thought she was a wreck on the stand.
No. This is what I mean. She was a wreck on the stand, but the poor little me, etc. That whole routine. Jean Clark, the other woman that, I don't know if you remember her. Do you remember Jean Clark?
Yes.
Jean Clark was a tough lady, okay? She was also trying to get money from Bob. And Jean appeared a lot smarter than Susie, but if you look, Jean didn't get any money. Susie got $500,000. So Susie was pretty good at playing different areas of manipulation.
Susie Giordano was in memory just doing these exasperated, like every time she would get caught in a lie. We can get back to this interview. Let's go back to her testimony. Oh, Allah. Oh, you can hear me? Okay, thanks. All right, here we go.
And I do feel that I was closer to him than most people.
Well,
he's closer to me than anyone else. He was my closest friend. He's the person I went to.
And you actually testified, ma'am, on February 15, 2017. You were asked these questions, and you said that absolutely, although you love him, you would not refer to him as a boyfriend. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, the testimony that you testified to, that took place on February 15, 2017. And that was in front of Judge Wyndham, seated to your left, correct? To your right.
My right.
To your right, thank you. And ma'am, at the time that you testified, I want you to listen to this question very carefully. Were you completely truthful in all of your answers?
Yes.
Now, during your prior testimony, ma'am, do you recall that you would be asked a question, and then pretty repeatedly, you would be confronted with clips, audio clips of what you've said before? Is that correct?
Correct.
As you sit here today, are you thinking about whether or not, when I ask a question, that I'm going to pop a clip up there?
No, not really.
You have an attorney here in court today who is an attorney from New York, is that right?
Yes.
And that attorney has been basically representing you in this case since shortly after Mr. Durst was arrested in March of 2015, correct?
Yes.
Who's paying for that attorney?
Actually, that was supposed to come from money that Bob had gave me a long time ago. And he hasn't been paid as of yet. The rest of, I didn't.
Ma'am, would the answer be
everything.
that Bob Durst is paying for that attorney?
Well, it came from money from, but I still owe the lawyer money right now. I don't.
Ma'am,
So
is
I
it
don't-
your understanding that you will be paying the lawyer the money out of your pocket, or that Mr. Durst will be paying or reimbursing?
Honestly, my lawyer didn't even ask anything as of now, so I don't know. I don't know yet.
Ma'am, I'm not asking what your lawyer asked you. I'm saying, is it your understanding, as you sit here today, is it your belief that Mr. Durst is paying for your lawyer?
Yes.
And in fact, was your lawyer present? You and I have met before, is that right?
Yes.
I flew out to New York with investigators, and we interviewed you way back in April of 2015. Is that correct?
Yes.
Was your lawyer present for that interview?
Yes.
Now, I want to go way back, and I want you to tell us, how did you and Bob Durst originally meet?
Way back, I started working at an ad agency, and I did want to meet Mr. Durst, and there's a mutual friend that we had, and
Let me stop you. Who's the mutual friend?
Nick Chavin. Nick and I worked at the same agency. I didn't work for him at the time. So I knew Nick Chavin, and I wanted to meet Bob Durst. I was single, and I wanted to meet with him. Bob was very busy at the time. So it took me a very long time. When he was in Texas, I finally wrote to him, reminded him
Wait,
who
I want to stop you, man.
I was.
The time that you're describing, when was this approximately? What year? When you first met him?
First.
I mean, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. She's like, I want to meet that man. Has nothing to do with it. He's so rich. You guys, the mixed nut scandal. There's some mixed nuts here. Like, you're not gonna want those, honey. You're not gonna want those. They're not the good ones. They're not the ones you like, honey. So that is Susie Giordano, just a nutcase, total nut.
Time I wanted to go out was 1987.
And how old were you back then?
I was 21.
And fair to say, Mr. Durst would have been 44, is that right?
Yes.
And you had an interest in Mr. Durst, is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know that Mr. Durst was wealthy?
Not at 21, no. 21, no. I didn't really. I just knew he was a friend of Nick and he was a client, and that was it.
So you're working at this ad agency with Nick Chavin,
Yes.
and you agree that Nick and Bob were very close friends, correct?
Yes.
And you had an interest in dating Mr. Durst, but you had no idea at the time that Mr. Durst was from one of the wealthiest families in all of New York.
That's right.
When did you learn that he was as wealthy as he is?
When I wanted to go out with him, it was a few years later. I mean, I was in the art department, so I didn't do any financials, and there was a lot of clients, so that's it. I was the art person.
Did you know when you first met Bob Durst, did you know that his wife had disappeared?
How is this woman the art woman for anything? How is this woman the art woman for anything? I mean, I'm no artist, but I feel like I could do a better job, no?
Yes.
Did you tell Nick Chavin that you were interested in dating Bob?
I told Nick in an elevator in 1987 that I wanted to meet with him, and he said...
Meet with him, meaning
with
Bob Durst?
I'm sorry, yes. I wanted to meet Bob. And he said to me, well, he's kind of married. And I asked him what that meant. And he said that his wife had disappeared, but made a kind of a joke out of it, like she left him.
And ma'am,
so
what was it that attracted you at age 21 to this man more than twice your age who you didn't know was wealthy?
Okay, well, I mean, a lot of people in my family are a lot older, so I don't think age really mattered. I just knew that Nick would talk high, he would speak about Bob highly, and I knew he was good friends, and I knew Nick, so from his personality, and what I've learned from everyone, that Bob was a lot of fun, and...
At this point, though, you do not know that Bob is part of a billionaire.
Swear, no.
Leading the witness. Okay.
It's foundational to impeachment, Your Honor.
Well, just a moment. Let me look at this. Let me look. You may be seated. Just a moment. So, sustain.
At this point, ma'am, did you know that Bob Durst was part of a billionaire real estate family?
I knew he was part of a family. I had no idea how much. I didn't.
Did
I did
you,
not.
ma'am, did you know that he was wealthy?
No, I didn't know what they owned. I just knew there was a real estate family, just as many other, I could rattle off 10 other clients that we had. I wouldn't know. I could name 10 more real estate development companies that we worked with at the time. And no, I don't know how big the family is or how much each individual person is worth. I was 21.
Ma'am, isn't it true that you were aware from Nick Chavin at the time that Bob Durst was
Calls for hearsay.
your biggest client, not for the truth of the matter asserted?
Sustain. I'm sorry, not on those grounds. Hold on.
Ma'am,
Yes.
did you hear my question?
It's the leading part, not the hearsay part.
Yes. Wait, it's sustained on leading grounds?
Leading, yes, hearsay, no. So just to ask directly.
Ma'am,
Yes.
at the time,
Yes.
was Bob Durst one of the, if not the biggest, one of the biggest clients of that firm?
I would say there's 3 other companies that were just about the same, like, that did a lot more advertising. So, yeah, there was a couple of others.
So, ma'am, so you knew at the time then that Bob Durst was part of a family that was one of Nick Chavin's firm's biggest clients. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the
That-
relevance of this as it
Okay.
relates to the allegations.
Okay, overrule.
Well,
Overrule.
we have a sidebar, Your Honor, because I want to get it.
Okay, yeah, sidebar, fine. Fine. Need it on or off
All
the
right,
record?
It
let's
could be off the record.
Okay. We'll just jam on that.
speed through this side. But oh, we're back already. All right,
The,
they cut
if
it
not
out.
the biggest, one of the biggest clients of that firm.
I would say there's 3 other companies that were just about the same, like, that did a lot more advertising. So, yeah, there was a couple of others.
So, ma'am, so you knew at the time then that Bob Durst was part of a family that was one of Nick Chavin's firm's biggest clients. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the
That-
relevance of this as it
Okay.
relates to the allegations.
Okay, overrule.
Well,
Overrule.
we have a sidebar, Your Honor, because I want to get it.
Okay, yeah, sidebar, fine. Fine. Need it on or off the record?
It could be off the record.
Okay. We'll just jam on that, folks.
Are they going to cut this out too? No. That's yes, maybe, maybe.
You tell.
Let me move past this. Every time I do, they seem like they're cutting
Your
it.
Honor, you may continue with your examination.
So,
Okay, there we go.
your original relationship, when you first met Mr. Durst, very shortly after age 21, you were interested in him romantically. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did the two of you, you said you brought that up to Nick Chavin, did the two of you, you and Mr. Durst, end up dating back at that time?
No.
Did you end up even having a conversation with Mr. Durst where you, in essence, expressed your interest?
In a timeline?
Yeah, back then.
Back then? No.
And so you were, at 21, were you single back then?
Yes.
And are you single today?
No.
And have you been, how many times have you been married between?
Yeah, I had the same impression when I first watched this trial, Doris. But then watching back and then talking to Lewin, he said he was actually a pretty fair judge. He let Lewin do a lot in this trial. Like one of the things he let him do was use film in the opening, which I think was unfair to the defense. And, you know, I'm generally a little bit more prosecution friendly. They let them use clips from All Good Things, the movie about Robert Durst, to highlight their narrative. And I didn't think that was very fair, but I think it's complicated the way they got it in. I think it's some of the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought some of the comments that he made about All Good Things let that in. It was a really unusual ruling. The whole case, Judge Wyndham said, was like one of the most unusual and favorite ones of his cases. It's the most incredible trial to watch. I mean, this is just, for me, it's great fun to always watch this trial. It's so well, the prosecution is so well done, and the characters are so interesting.
Now,
I mean, before this, he talks about, what was her name? He mentioned her name. She really was a tough woman who tried to get Robert Durst's money and didn't get much of it. I'm trying to think of her name. I'll think of it in a second. Give me a hot minute. Anybody remembers, throw it in the chat. But she was like something, like the opposite, totally shut down the prosecution. And you could tell she was lying, but she wasn't going to say much on the stand.
and then.
3.
Okay, and so this is before any of the marriages and before you were involved with anybody at that time?
Yes.
Okay, so at that point in time, you and Mr. Durst don't end up dating. Do the two of you continue to have any contact, or is it just through the work that Nick Chavin was doing for Mr.
It was
Durst?
just the work.
How often would you see Bob Durst back then?
Not often. Maybe once a year, and I'm trying to think of the year. I had stopped working for a while at the agency, so it wasn't until I wrote to him when he was in Texas. So no, I didn't see him very often at all.
So did you have any personal conversations with Mr. Durst other than maybe hello or, you know, goodbye, bringing him in to see?
No, not until later.
Okay, so that's a lot of years that go by, is that right?
Yes.
How was it that the two of you became reacquainted or reconnected?
I wrote to him
And when was this?
when he was in Galveston.
And would it be fair to say then that that would be sometime between November 30th, I'm sorry, sometime between in 2002 or 2003?
Okay, yeah, it sounds exactly.
At that time, were you single or married?
I was single.
And had you already been married by then?
I was single till a couple of years after.
Jean Clark is who I was trying to think of. Jean Clark. Go back. It's the testimony right before this. It's right in front of my face. Jean Clark. Jean Clark, look. Jean Clark and Susie Giordano right in front of my face. Here. CA versus Robert Durst. Yeah, that's the woman I was thinking of. She is a tough, mean woman.
No, so I didn't say this right. So we left off in 1987 approximately, or the early 90s, and now it's 2002.
Right,
So-
I was divorced, right.
So you were divorced. Did you already have children at this point?
Yes.
So you're divorced and you end up reconnecting with Mr. Durst. How did you end up reconnecting with him?
I decided to write him. I don't understand. I wrote to him and he responded. I said,
Well, I'm just trying to understand, you haven't seen him, you've really had no relationship with him other than saying hello and goodbye through Mr. Chavin. I'm just trying to figure out what was it that led you to recontact him?
Well, I was writing at the time, and I did write to him and ask him if he was interested in writing a book, because at one time you wanted to write a book. So I did write a few books, and I contacted him and asked him if he was interested in telling his story. And that's what the first letter is that I sent him.
So had you ever had a personal conversation of any length prior to sending him this letter?
No.
And when you sent him this letter, was this after you became aware that he had been charged with Morris Black's murder and was accused of killing and dismembering him?
It was after.
And you were also aware that he was a suspect in the disappearance of his wife, Kathy, is that right?
Yes.
And so in contacting to write a book, is it fair to say that you were looking to make some money?
In writing a book, yeah, I thought it would certainly be good for a career move. Yeah, so I guess, yes.
So you find Mr. Durst and you send him a letter. What happens after you send him a letter?
He wrote me back and just, asked me questions about what I've written, asked questions about Nick, I don't know exactly the letter, but he did write me back. I don't remember the whole content of the letter. It was a long time ago.
Were you a published author at that time?
I self-published.
Had you ever been paid as a reporter or as an author at that point?
Commission on the books that I've written, but like I said, I self-published the book.
Well, so that means, so in essence, you basically wrote a book, paid to publish that book, and then you would have kept whatever sales you made from the book. Is that correct?
Yes, I didn't have to put money out, but it was the same type of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
And how much money had you made at that point, approximately?
Oh, honestly, I don't even know. I don't. It wasn't a whole bunch. It wasn't like I was buying cars. It was very little.
Right. Fair to say, ma'am, you were somebody who was interested in potentially becoming a paid author, but you really weren't one yet. Is that fair?
Right.
And Bob Durst had a big story and a big name, and you saw opportunity. Is that right?
Yes.
So you end up contacting him. Did you ever travel to Galveston to visit him while he was in custody,
Yes.
awaiting trial? How often did you visit him?
4 times, maybe, in Galveston, maybe 4.
And did you do this at your own expense?
He paid for me. I paid, and then he paid.
Well,
So it wasn't. I don't know honestly how many times, but
ma'am, if we use your best memory, isn't it correct that in fact Bob Durst primarily paid for you and sometimes your family members to fly down to see
he
him?
did. Yes, he did. He did pay for my sons. Yes,
So when you say you paid,
that's that time definitely. Yeah.
so when you say you paid, ma'am, what you mean is you might have, for one of the trips, paid something of one trip,
Right. Okay.
but primarily he was paying the bills, right?
For me to get there, yes.
And was he paying for your food and hotel while you were there?
I paid my own food. Probably paid the hotel. Yes. I mean, I paid for my food or my travel.
Now, at this point in time, you had remarried, right?
Yes.
Did your husband go with you?
No.
How did you explain that one?
Objection, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can they state a grounds? He's just saying objection. There's no grounds.
Argumentative, irrelevant. Totally irrelevant.
Okay.
Rude.
So both of these lawyers, this lawyer is saying rude is he's from Las Vegas. And the other lawyer he has is from Texas. So they don't know that they have to state grounds. And that's one thing that John Lewin really knows better than anyone is that the code that so you're supposed to say, like, I'm going to just say the code that the defense learned in this case and said for almost every answer, which was 352. So when you object, you have to say 352, this or that. And we saw that in, I believe, the Karen Reed trial. Was it Alessi? Am I wrong on this? Wasn't it Alessi who was throwing out codes? And Judge Cannoni was saying you don't need to throw out the code when you object. Just object. I thought so. Correct me if I'm wrong about that.
Okay, well, those are all overruled, but it may be 352 territory.
There you go, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may ask a different question.
Ma'am,
Yes.
so you're going down there to see Mr. Durst. Did your husband, was he aware that you were traveling to see him?
Yes.
Did your husband know that you previously had a romantic interest in Mr. Durst?
Objection, Your Honor. 352.
Overruled. Overruled.
Yes.
And was your husband okay with you going down there given the previous romantic interest you had?
Yes.
At one point you indicated that your sons actually flew down to Galveston as well, is that right?
Yes.
Did Mr. Durst actually arrange special treats for you and your children sometimes when you would come down to Galveston?
There was one time that gave them baseball tickets to a baseball game.
He actually arranged with very expensive tickets for you and your sons to see Roger Clemens pitching, is that right?
Yes, that was the baseball game.
And overall, how many times do you think you went down there?
I think I went there 4 times, and maybe 3.
And did you talk to him? Were they interviews? What did you do when you were down there?
I was only down there for the visit. I stayed only a day or 2. I didn't vacation. I just went to visit him.
When you would visit, what would you talk about?
I honestly, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What mutual friend, like how advertising is? What career path am I taking? Conversations, like not.
Did the subject of his alleged murder and dismemberment of Morris Black ever come up?
No.
That's a lie. That's a lie. But can you imagine someone showing you this art and saying, I'm thinking about becoming an art teacher? And say, go for it. And then it works. And it works. You're actually an art teacher. We were just talking about my career choices. Your testimony is unreal. And it only gets better as it goes on. How do I describe John Lewin's examinations? They're like, they're really in depth, and you get such a full picture of the person that he's trying to paint by his cross-examinations. They're like a long, rich, detailed novel, I'd say. You're not entirely sure if what you're seeing is entirely correct in these examinations, but it paints such a clear picture. Like, talk about his other interview with Robert Durst's friend, who was so incredibly arrogant and rude and just starts yelling at, I think it was used in the Jinx. This guy looks like the devil. And he starts yelling at Lewin. Doug Oliver's his name. And he starts yelling at John Lewin immediately about how you have to send me a private plane. No, wait, sorry. I always get this wrong. He doesn't want John Lewin to send him a private plane. He wants to take his private plane to speak with John Lewin because he lives in New York. He's also a real estate, developer, mogul, kind of like mini Trump, mini Robert Durst, all these guys. And, wait, I'm not going to get off track. But anyway, so he says, I'll take a plane to talk to you and to testify, I believe, if you pay the gas and what it takes, you know, all the cost of my private planes, because I'm not flying commercial, and how rude. And then he talks about how rude John Lewin is. But then he used all that in the examination. It didn't have to do with anything about Robert Durst. It just made anything that he said that would be helpful to Robert Durst totally pointless, because you hated him. I mean, it just destroyed it. I mean, he likes to destroy something he talks about in these interviews. He likes to destroy on issues of character before he ever gets into the really important issues pertinent to the case. And it was curious to watch him really fail for the first time. He's such a winning prosecutor. In the last case that we showed is the rapper who shot his former friend in the street. He really couldn't get anywhere with his directs. They didn't work. It was odd. I mean, he scored like a few points, but different judge. He wasn't given as much leeway, and the characters were all different. I don't know. I'd be curious to hear what he'd have to say about why he didn't have more success in that trial. I don't know who the jury was, but I mean, that was some slick defense job there. And a lot of, you know, innocence, fraud in the public narrative and twisting of things. Very much like Karen Reed, really, that case.
How about the disappearance of his missing wife?
No.
So you're planning on writing a book about him, but you didn't ask about two of the main...
No, because he did not agree at the time. And once if he agreed that he was going to write the book, then I would have asked all questions. Right now, I was getting to really know him.
Well, when you say you're getting to really know him, it'd be fair to say that you were getting to know him in a way that was going to get you access to his money.
No.
So while you were down in Galveston, did you eventually get access to some of his money, including his credit cards?
No.
Do you recall telling Andrew Jarecki and Mark Smerling during your March 10, 2014 interview that you handled all of Bob's credit cards while he was in Galveston jail?
No.
So that is not true?
No. He had to buy a gift once, and I didn't have the credit card information. He bought a gift for someone, and that was it.
He would tell you to buy gifts for other people with his money, correct?
Once he asked.
When you were interviewed by Jarecki and Smerling, did you in any way indicate that it was only one time?
I don't remember, but I only remember one time.
While Bob was in custody, did he regularly send you flowers?
Yes, and it used to say happy writing on it.
I thought that you didn't have any agreement to do any writing with him.
He didn't, but he knew I was still trying, whether it was with his book or I was still trying to write.
What other writing assignments did you have at that time?
I tried to take a class in screenwriting.
Fair to say, ma'am, you didn't have any paid writing positions at that time, is that correct?
Correct.
Any of your other platonic friends regularly send you flowers?
Honestly, I don't have that many friends, as I told you once before. I don't, I'm sorry. I have family.
At the time that this was going on, not only was Bob married...
I have family, and I just like to attach myself to rich murderers that can give my family $500,000. But what's the connection with these dark personalities? Like the rest of her stuff, the connection between dark personalities. Sorry, let me go back and not get ahead of myself. These dark personalities and children's things, sort of these, I notice this sometimes. These are dark, disturbed people. Look at everything she's selling is like children's toys. Her art. Here's her pop kitty art. Oh, it's not even letting me pull that up. Do you see what I'm talking about down here? But Nickelodeon figures, all that. What's the deal with these dark personalities and these children's things? Like, I don't understand it, but you see it with them. Very juvenile.
Were you married? But you were aware that Bob was married as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you at all discuss anything relating at that time to pursuing any kind of relationship with each other in the future?
I'm so sorry.
I'll ask again, sure.
Yeah.
So you're going down and you're visiting, you're talking about...
Yeah, and they never found Kathy, and Robert Durst never gave up the power and control of knowing. He said he put her in the, it was something they mentioned in The Sopranos, that famous scene where they get lost in the woods. I'm trying to think of the name of it. He said he left them there, but I don't think that's true. I think the body, for some reason, I think that body is in that lake of that house. If I had to guess, they were guessing in the 90s, in the late 90s. I remember my grandmother knew Robert Durst as a child. Her father knew his father, I believe. And so she followed this story. And I would watch her go through the newspaper stories. At one point, they were thinking that he dropped her remains from a private plane. That was one story that went in the late 90s. But for some reason, I don't think it's in New Jersey. I don't think he brought it to New Jersey. I think somewhere where they lived together with that house at the lake. I've always thought maybe it's there, somewhere in water, I think. I mean, he put Morris Black in water. Why wouldn't he put Kathy in water? I think he probably dismembered her too, if I had to guess. If you're just tuning in, we're just having like a hangout and talking about Susie Giordano, who was Robert Durst's platonic friend and only platonic friend, although they were going to buy a love nest together. This is her direct examination, although it really does feel like a cross-examination in the Robert Durst trial. This was 2020.
Different things.
Maybe 2021.
Did the two of you at that time have any discussions about pursuing a romantic relationship in the future?
Objection, Your Honor, to
No.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to ask that.
No.
No, but he doesn't
I
state
said it, you just can't hear.
Oh, then if he can speak, what was the objection? I didn't hear it.
It's overruled.
Oh, okay. If Mr.
The answer
Chesnut,
was no.
I'll speak louder.
thank you, I appreciate it.
Got it.
Hey, Melanie, nice to see you. No, today I made a ton of shorts in the past 2 or 3 days. I made one 10-minute video from the interview I did with Brendan that has video and it has audio of our interview together. Using other clips and shorts. So there's tons of stuff on Karen Reed. We'll get back to it. This is just a little blowing off steam break I'm having tonight, just to hang out tonight. Just sort of more of a hangout, relaxed episode. It's just a small story. So this woman, Melanie, since you came in late, this woman, Susie Giordano, who got $500,000 from Robert Durst by being his friend. She sent him money in a suitcase while he was running from the law after the jinx came out. And he thought he was going to be arrested, which he was, for the murder of Susan Berman. She sent him all this money on the run in a suitcase and said she didn't know it was in the suitcase because she packed it so fast and it was dark. now that Robert Durst is dead and she can no longer grift, she's still grifting off of his murder by selling art, Susie's art and gift cottage on eBay, the Three Witches and Cat, Robert Durst artist. That's how she bills herself. And I thought, since nobody else is talking about this story, I would talk about her and talk about her incredible direct examination in the Robert Durst trial. So,
Ma'am, I couldn't hear your answer. Let me ask this again.
No. The answer was no. No,
right.
I'm not telling you no, you couldn't repeat it. I'm just, the answer was no.
Okay. So you had originally wanted to date Mr. Durst approximately 12, 13, 15 years earlier. Is that correct? In 19
Yes. Okay, yes, I just had to think because then I say the wrong thing. It's yes.
Right, so now you're down in visiting in Galveston, you're telling me you have no interest in any romantic relationship anymore.
No, honestly, we're building a very strong friendship. I mean, we did.
yeah. You know, in the beginning, Melanie, I mean, what can I say about Michael Proctor? I was very supportive of Michael Proctor. I generally feel he's a good cop, but he just didn't seem to gain any wisdom from that. From that experience. I don't know. I hope that I wish them well. They all underestimated Karen Reed. That's what I can say about it. They all underestimated Karen Reed. And I'm well aware of just another casualty of these innocence fraud campaigns. Sad. It's just sad. But I don't know. I feel like I'm watching the civil lawyers make the same kind of mistakes that the Commonwealth, especially in the second case, made by going, I just think this, I hope I'm wrong, but I think this lawyer is the wrong lawyer for this case. I know she has experience since 2004 in this particular area, but I think it would be better just to keep the lawyers they have. I don't think they need her. I think she's going to work counter. I think she's going to actually be a help to Karen Reed. That's my take on it. I have my reasons. I think I talked about some of them. I just don't see her. You have to be really brave to face an innocence fraud campaign. And it just makes me think that they think that they need to win this in court. They have everything they need to win in court. It's how are they going to strategize to deal with the innocence fraud campaign coming into the courtroom? And how are they going to strategize to stick to every detail of the facts so Karen Reed has nowhere to go and bravely delve into each fact? Just keep it completely factual and don't do what Hank Brennan did in his opening, which is sort of kind of get out of the time, sort of, it was just like he said, well, Karen Reed hung up on Jen McCabe or Carrie Roberts when she didn't. I mean, there's a whole line, Michael Camerano, or whole call to Michael Camerano and Catherine Camerano got ghosted out of that entire trial. It's my memory, the second trial. It's just very helpful. All those things are very helpful to Karen Reed. You want to bring in every single detail you can into that case, because where innocence fraudsters, I don't even know if you can understand this, but from looking at so many innocence fraud cases, where innocence fraud really only works in using broad strokes. So you cannot fight it using broad strokes. You have to fight it using every single, even if they're boring, even if it's not entertaining for the jury, every single detail matters. And they have to be thinking like that, not like we're going to bring in the Glamazon California lawyer, and because she has so much experience and because she won a $110 million case, she's going to be helpful. I don't know if she's going to be all that helpful. That's where I'm at with it. I don't mean to be disparaging. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. I hope she's amazing and I'm totally wrong. And she wins a huge ton of money for the O'Keeffes. But the way I see it right now, Karen Reed has 7 lawyers. She sold her story to books. She sold her story to movies. And all that is coming out. All that propaganda is going to come out before the civil case. And what do the O'Keeffes have? They have this crappy Netflix thing that's going to be a flop. Because it's going to do the same thing, the same kind of thing, the same kind of brushing over the minutia in the case for entertainment value. And it's just going to be a Karen Reed is guilty thing without Karen Reed's real behavior being explored. And if they go down that same narrative that Karen Reed was so guilty, so jealous, it's not going to be helpful. It's just not helpful. It's not her. The guilt isn't enough. You have to look at Karen Reed's behavior and see how it fits in. And so when the jurors are looking at this and going, this doesn't feel true what the prosecution is putting out, it's because it really, I don't think she was jealous. I think all of it was to keep John on the back foot and under control. Anyway, that's Karen Reed.
Did you at all at that point in time, did you ever discuss getting a love nest together?
Yes, but the way I have a term, your term is just different than mine. I just wanted to take care of him.
So in 2002 or 2003, even back then, you were discussing with Mr. Durst the idea that he was going to buy a love nest.
Not back then, no.
Okay,
No, not 2000. So
listen to my question if you can, ma'am. So I'm not asking you about more current things. I'm saying back in 2002, 2003, when Mr. Durst was in custody, did you have discussions back then?
No.
Ma'am, you've got to let me finish the question.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the same question. Sorry.
Did you have discussions back then about you and Mr. Durst getting a place to live together?
No.
Do you know when those conversations first came up?
4 or 5 years ago?
So are you 4 or 5 years ago, did they come up before Mr. Durst was arrested in 2015?
Let me just think. I was sending him emails, yes. Before he was arrested, I had sent emails because I wanted him first to come live. It was a house next door to my house, and I wanted him to move. So through the emails, you can see that I kept sending him homes that were right next door to me, because I have a very large family, and I thought living close and him being taken care of is important.
And by this time, husband number 3 was now ex-husband number 3, correct?
Just, no, not at the time.
When did he become ex-husband number 3?
Legally not ex-husband number 3.
Oh, okay. When
Okay,
did the two of you separate, or when did
we were just having issues.
I'm not asking about
And
the
he's
issues.
been very supportive, so I don't.
Ma'am, I'm not asking about the issues. I just want to know, when was it, whether formal or informal, that you and husband number 3 ended up not having a regular marital relationship?
Objection relevance, Your Honor.
Right before, I guess, I'm trying to think. My 5 years? I don't actually remember. 5 years ago, maybe?
Well, so
Wait, I want to instruct the witness to speak a little louder right into the microphone, pause, and you can take a moment before you answer, and then say it loud.
Might have been about 5 years ago.
it was before Mr. Durst was arrested, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, will the court take judicial notice that he was arrested on March 2015. Or we can get maybe a stipulation.
Is that in the court file?
Yes, Your Honor. That is. I can ask counsel. Counsel, will you stipulate that that's the date of arrest?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, then I'll take judicial notice.
Ma'am, would you agree that as you sit up here today testifying, that you have a financial motivation to keep yourself in good graces with Bob Durst?
No, it's unconditional. It really is unconditional. It's not.
Okay, listen to my question though, ma'am. I'm not asking you what it is that's causing you to testify, et cetera. I'm merely asking you, would you
Objection,
agree?
Your Honor, he's testifying because I think you got a subpoena.
Wait, well,
What?
I don't understand the objection, but she did actually answer the question, Mr. Lewin?
Yeah.
She answered it and she gave an
Okay,
explanation.
ma'am,
Yes.
how much money has Bob Durst given you over the years?
Over the years,
Yeah.
300,000.
In February of 2015, right before his arrest, he sent you a check for $38,000, correct?
I'm gonna actually say, believe it or not, I don't remember.
If you testified previously, or if you stated previously that you had been sent $38,000
Then,
in February of 2015, would that be accurate?
I just right now don't really remember.
In March,
Okay, excuse me a second. I want to instruct the witness. She's actually continuing to speak and mumbling a little bit,
Oh.
and I want you to speak clearly, and then to speak clearly, all right? Thanks. You may ask your next question.
I apologize, Your Honor, I cannot hear I can't hear the mumbling. I just, when it stops.
But I
Yeah.
do. I
Yeah.
know she's speaking. She's on the witness stand under oath, and I want it to be on the record. The thing she says should be on the record, and that's. I know you didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you now.
Thank you,
Go
Your Honor.
ahead.
Ma'am, in March of 2015, did Bob Durst send you another check, this time for $300,000?
Yes,
So when you said he's giving you $300,000, ma'am, a moment ago I said, how much has he given you in total? And you said $300,000. Ma'am, that's incorrect, right?
okay. I forgot about the 38. It's
Well-
probably for my son, so, yeah,
Well, let's continue, ma'am. He sent you one check for $300,000. Trust me, I'm going to go through all of it, but he sent you one check in 2015 in March for $300,000.
okay.
He's continued to send you money up until very recently. Is that correct?
I have not received the check.
Well,
I have not received the check. Nope.
So, ma'am, so there's been no payments. I'll get there. There have been no payments by Mr. Durst or his representatives in the last 2 years regarding.
Honestly, I don't know. I gave some of the bills that I had that were old bills that had to be paid, and I gave them to my attorney. That's what I did. I gave them to my attorney, and I still get them, and my bills are still a little late. But,
Ma'am, do you have an attorney who you just give bills to and he pays them?
he told me to hand over what I owed, and some of it was paid and some of it wasn't.
Well,
And
ma'am-
I didn't ask. Honestly, I
Well-
didn't ask. I didn't see a check. I see that it's still a couple of months late, some of it, but I didn't ask, and I didn't see any money pass through my hands. Not a check, nothing since, whatever you said, 2015.
So I want to go back, ma'am. I asked you originally, how much has he sent you, and I want to include your family in total. So I'm going to ask that again. I want you to take a moment, and I want you to try to think right now, in total, how much money has Bob Durst, either directly or indirectly, given to you or your family members, in total?
Maybe there was 15,000 more in the bills that I have.
Try 200,000 more, right? What did we up to? 300,000? Try 500,000, lady. Try 500,000.
I really don't know exactly. I mean, I don't.
I mean, I'm sure it made her life easier. But how do you live with yourself when you take a murderer's $500,000? I mean, how do you live with yourself? I don't get how any of these creators live with themselves, grifting off guilty killers and making propaganda for guilty killers. How do they live with themselves? I don't know. What morally vapid human beings. Get a job, do something else, but don't grift off of guilty killers. And it's the channels that say they're pro-victim and blah, blah, blah. You'll always find something on there pushing some murderer or another's innocence, usually after the fact, after it's gone through our court system and been found guilty, and then the appeals courts look at it, found nothing there, nothing wrong with the trial, well represented. Or even when like the West Memphis 3 where they plead guilty again via Alford, they'll still, I just don't understand. I don't understand it. But there's like some idea in true crime that you can't look like, you have to take either one or two killers. You have to advocate for one or two killers, psychopathic murderers, in order to look fair and balanced. Really? Like, really? Like, who created that? Who created that idea? I'm not grifting for any killer. Sorry. I couldn't live with, no, thank you. Couldn't live with myself. So revolting.
At the time that Mr. Durst sent you that $300,000 check, he told you he was going to send that to you in advance of his arrest, correct?
I really don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. I didn't.
I mean, do you think Robert Durst fans are buying this stuff? Do you think they're buying her weird childlike artwork that looks like she spent 2 minutes on? What's an ACO art card? What does that mean? Is that like what we used to like a 3x5 card or something with her signed on the back? Like it just, is that what it is? Or is it an actual card to send to people? Let me look at is there a description here? And 10% of the sales go to the ASPCA. And the rest of the 90% goes to a murderer groupie. She says she's in New York, not New Jersey. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe she's in upstate New York or around New York. She's not in the city. I know that. She's outside the city. So maybe I was wrong. It wasn't New Jersey. It's somewhere in New York. She says, "Hi, my name is Susie Giordano. I'm an artist in New York and a graduate from Pratt Institute. I was a high school art teacher in New York before opening my own studio. My studio was named the Art Cottage of New York, but after COVID, I did close shop." So it doesn't sound like she was an art teacher when she testified here, but you can still see the studio on Facebook if interested. I also had a gift shop and I've been listing items each day. I was fortunate enough to study with the famous William de Koonen's student, Pat Pazeloff, and I'm grateful that my art traveled to be shown in galleries. Pat Pazeloff's art was acquired by MoMA in New York City. Pat Pazeloff nominated me for an award, and I did become the recipient of that award, the CSI Art Foundation Award. I am just extremely grateful that she chose me as her art student, and she was an amazing mentor. What did her art look like? That's what I wonder. Odd, right? Right. If you're just tuning in, we're watching amazing direct examination of Robert Durst's trial. Maybe we'll finish this up tomorrow morning, but I will get to the end of at least the first half. They are really like rich and fun to watch. Maybe tomorrow morning with my coffee, maybe we'll watch the rest of it.
We didn't know he was getting arrested either, to be honest with you.
I mean, we'll watch a little bit more tonight. We'll finish this up. But it gets really good with the suitcase. It just gets better and better, but it kind of builds. You can't really just go to the end. Kind of have to let it build. They're very expertly crafted, these direct examinations. And they're not as much fun if you just sort of like go into the middle of it. You kind of have to listen. It really is like a novel kind of. Okay. Very detailed novel.
So Andrew Jarecki called me. Other than that, I didn't know. He said he was going to send me something.
Okay, so listen to my question, ma'am.
That's what he said.
I'm not asking you whether he knew he was going to be arrested. I'm asking you, prior to his arrest on March 14, 2015, you were aware that he was going to be sending you a large check, correct?
A check. I didn't know the amount. That's it. I didn't.
And ma'am, when you were interviewed on March 15, 2015, I'm going to get to this in a moment, but on that date, investigator Joe Becerra from the New York State Police showed up at your house with no notice to collect what are known as the Giordano boxes. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm going to go into that in more detail, but I want to ask you, did you at any point mention to investigator Becerra on the 15th when he talked to you, hey, by the way, I'm supposed to be getting a check from Bob? You didn't tell him that, did you?
No. Did he ever ask me? I don't.
Well, you agree, on the 16th, he came back and re-interviewed you again the next day, correct?
Okay.
Would you agree that you did not mention to investigator Becerra the next day that Mr. Durst had sent you?
No, no, it wasn't. No, why would I say something?
Well,
no.
You agree that investigator Becerra and Special Agent Eric Perry from the FBI, that they were asking you questions about your contacts with Mr. Durst, correct?
Correct.
Ma'am, are you telling us that it was a pure accident, that you did not intentionally fail to mention this check that was coming? Is that your testimony?
Yes, I didn't do anything purposely. Is that what you mean? I didn't purposely not say, oh, by the way, I'm getting a check. I didn't.
Ma'am, do you recall, ma'am, being asked about the check 2 days later on March 18th, 2015 by Special Agent Eric Perry? You remember him from the FBI?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Do you recall him asking you why you didn't tell Joe Becerra the other day about the strike that? Do you recall being asked during the March 18th, 2015 interview with Special Agent Perry, do you recall you mentioning at all anything again about that check?
Your Honor, objection. He's going to refresh her recollection. Should you show her what he's referring to?
Overruled.
Ma'am? To the best of your memory, you didn't mention anything about...
No, I didn't mention anything about money.
And would it be your testimony that if you didn't mention it, that was an accident, it was not intentional?
Objection, misstates her testimony.
Overruled. She can explain herself.
If anybody would have asked me about, I didn't withhold any information purposely. Everyone asked me about the boxes. Those were the answers. That was it. No one ever asked me. I wasn't withholding information.
Ma'am, have you at times stated, when asked about large sums of money that you had from Mr. Durst, that you were merely, quote, holding money for him?
I wanted to put money down on a piece of property. That was it. I thought it would have been a good idea for him to move up to the Hudson Valley. And I would send him like I said, houses or property, and that's was my plan.
So what was your understanding, ma'am, of what that $300,000 was supposed to be used for?
Well, it was, Bob couldn't understand how expensive college loans were. And it was exactly 12.75 in interest. And at the time he said, why don't you pay the boys' school? Because it was almost $100,000, at least $100,000 in student loans. And then Tommy was moving to Louisiana and told me to pay LSU, whatever apartment he needed, pay up my bills, and start fresh.
So ma'am,
Fresh start.
I want to understand this because it sounds like you're saying two different things. Was the money for you to put down for a house for Mr. Durst? Ma'am, let me finish. Or was it money that you were supposed to use for you and your family as you saw fit?
It was for both. It was a lot of money, so it was for different things.
And I assume then, since not all of it was supposed to be for you,
Right.
that you put it into an account that Mr. Durst would have had access to.
It wasn't withholding it. He didn't have access to the account, but if he wanted it, I had it. I wrote every single thing down, where the money went, or always.
So you took this money and you put it into your personal account where you could spend it as you wished, is that right?
Yes, it's trust.
Some of that money was supposed to be a loan, is that correct?
Yes, I wanted to make it a loan.
It's been 6 years. How much of that $300,000 have you paid back?
Didn't ask me for anything back.
Well, ma'am, you just told me it was supposed to be a loan, and now you're saying that he didn't ask for anything back. Was it supposed to be a loan or was it supposed to be a gift?
He wanted it as a gift, and I told him that I think I should have the boys pay their share for responsibility. So,
Well, ma'am, let me ask you, you said that a moment ago, you said it was for you to start your life over. Do you
Right.
recall that testimony?
right, and I said we had just different opinions. He really didn't worry about me giving anything back, and I just felt that if the boys had to use it to pay, they should still give something, just being responsible.
So let me repeat myself. How much of the money, that $300,000 that you used or your boys used, has been paid back to Mr. Durst?
I sent, I think, the 2 checks that week, and he was arrested and told me not to send anything anywhere.
Ma'am, those 2 checks were for a total of $2,000, is that right?
Yes, it was 1,000, supposed to be 1,000 a week, and then, yeah.
So in 6 years, you made an effort within a week after receiving the check to pay back $2,000, which was actually not paid back, and then since then, zero. Is that correct?
Your Honor, mischaracterizes her testimony. She said that he told him.
But, Your Honor, I'm going to ask, I'm trying not to speak in objections, but
Right.
Mr. Chesnoff, everyone has been a speaking objection, so,
Well, no, they're just sort of along the grounds.
well, they're,
But be succinct with the grounds for an objection.
so ma'am, did you understand my question? Let me just ask it again to save time here. So, in 6 years,
Oh, we've got the sighings coming in, and you know that Lewin's going in for the kill when he starts saying ma'am a lot.
there has been zero actually paid back, is that right?
It was the 2 checks, and that was it.
Those
Right.
2 checks were never cashed, correct?
No, they were cash,
Okay, so there have been, and those are from your sons, is that right?
yes.
So your sons paid back $1,000, $2,000 total, and you paid back nothing, is that right?
Yes.
You were asked about this, is that correct?
What's going on with her eyes? She does look a little weird here. Anybody want to take a guess as to what she's on?
Correct. During your 2017 testimony, is that right?
Some kind of maybe benzos? Painkillers? Something? I don't know. Odd, right? But she gets totally flipped out at the end of this and says, I can't come back another day. I can't get my medication. I only brought medication for one night. It doesn't even make sense.
And at the time, you were asked what the total amount that you'd been given was. Do you recall that you said that it was $350,000?
Yes, after we just did the math now, so yes.
Well, my question to you would be, ma'am, if you remembered specifically there was a $300,000 check, are you telling this jury that when I first asked you that question, you only remembered one check that Bob Durst had ever given you, that $300,000?
Yes, I just, until you reminded me, I said I didn't remember. And then
Somehow she forgot $350,000, something like that. Isn't that more? Aren't we at like $650,000 more than $500,000? Am I losing track here of all the money she got? Yeah. So Tater says pills, dolls, Valley of the Dolls. Gotta get off. Gotta get off. Have to get off of this witness stand.
And if you said that's what it was, I honestly don't remember, but I'm sure you know, and then I'm agreeing with you.
And ma'am, when I asked you that question, you understood that the bills that you've been giving to your lawyer, some of which have been paid, you understand that that is being paid by Mr. Durst or his associates, correct?
I assumed.
Well,
okay, so I assumed.
well, ma'am, okay. So why is it that you decided to give checks to your lawyer? What was your lawyer supposed to do with those checks that you were giving him?
What checks? Wait a minute.
I'm sorry, my mistake, excuse me. What was your lawyer supposed to do with the bills that you were giving to him?
He just told me not to stress, just to give him the things that were very, very late and had to be taken care of.
And was it your understanding, ma'am, that your lawyer was paying those bills?
It must be really nice to just hand over everything to Robert Durst's lawyer. Can I do that? Can I hand over my electric bill, my gas bill, my rent? I need my rent paid, murderer lawyer. I couldn't live with myself that way, but it must be nice to just hand over all your bills to someone and have them pay them. Oh my Lord, if they're not a murderer. They're not a murderer. Otherwise, I would have a little conscience problem with my conscience. Not her.
Bills himself.
I never asked him where it came from, who wrote a check. I didn't see anything. I didn't ask.
Ma'am, so you're telling this jury that you have a lawyer that's being paid for by Mr. Durst. That lawyer is telling you, just give me these bills, and you're saying you had no idea that Mr. Durst is behind paying them.
I could assume anything, but I didn't see anything. Like I said, I didn't ask. It was.
So, ma'am, so when you say you could assume, is it fair to say that it was your belief, although you didn't see any proof, it was your belief that you were giving those bills to your lawyer to pass on to Mr. Durst and his representatives to be paid? Is that correct?
I guess. Okay. Well.
Did you ever have any discussions with Mr. Durst while he was in jail about this exact issue?
Yes.
And did Mr. Durst tell you on September 30th, 2016, that he had told his lawyers to give you as much money as you wanted to do whatever you wanted? Do you recall that?
I don't remember. I really don't remember.
Mark,
why don't we take our break?
can I just play this one clip, Ron?
Okay, one clip and then
Thank
a
you.
break.
People's next in order, Mr. Milius.
Right, it'd be 207, People's 207.
All right.
I assume you're asking for SG 071. Good.
This is September 20th, 2016, jail call.
Yeah, it is.
All right. I spoke to Courtesy, I told him that I wanted you to have as much money do whatever it is you want us to do.
Thank you.
In terms of your life.
Oh.
I can ask her about it after the break, Your Honor.
Thank you, and 207A will leave that, which will be.
Okay, we'll return to this we'll hang out and watch the rest of this because it really does get good. I thought it does starting to get really good is what I mean. Yeah, she's a professional. Doris, you don't even know. You don't even know. It gets more wild. It gets more wild as it goes on. So it kind of, just all of his examinations are really crafted. So you learn a little bit about someone, a little bit. By the end their credibility is just totally, totally ruined. And whatever help that they could have been to the defense is gone. So they're really fun to watch. Such a well crafted, well thought out examination, direct examination, not even a cross. So they can't even do as much. No leading questions, etc. But yeah, she gets, wow, wait, actually, let's see. I think it's this end here. I think I just cut it off. Let's see her just complain about, before we go, about the pills. Hold on one second. I don't have my medication. This is where she complains right here. Hold on one second. So keep listening. Lewin didn't catch this, but I did.
A written version of that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our break.
Oh, this is just the break. I think it's at the end of the day. We'll see tomorrow. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow where she's complaining. She's like, we're going to need you tomorrow. And she's like, I can't go tomorrow. I don't have my pills. Can't come back.
320. Do not converse among yourselves with anyone else on any subject connected with this case. Do not form or express chambers to portion of the testimony. I told Mr. Chesnoff I would overrule that, and that's under evidence code 320. The court controls the order of proof. The court regulates the order of proof. But go ahead. You may make a record.
No, Your Honor, just quite succinctly stated our issue with it, and the court did indicate that if they're not able to show that they were supposed to be able to impeach, that the court would strike the testimony.
That's right. I would strike the testimony. Already, though, there's been testimony about holding money for Mr. Durst for some, and I'm seeing this as possibly connected to some other evidence of holding money so that one can be a fugitive. I don't know if that's where you're going, Mr. Durst, but
it should be.
Mr. Lewin, about Mr. Durst, sorry.
That's going to be separate monies, but yes, this all is going to combine. At the end of this, we're going to be able to show the witness will be thoroughly and completely impeached.
But so if that's all there is, what we've heard so far, of course, I would strike.
Thank you.
Strike it.
And the point that should be made, Your Honor, is none of this $300,000 or $338,000 has anything to do with any effort to escape. So.
Right, which is a good point. So that's David Chesnoff, who Lewin, you can just tell, just has a real, from my interviews and just from his attitude towards him in county court, they hate each other. They fought through this whole trial. Dick Dugarin, old Texas lawyer, has been Durst's lawyer since the beginning. Chesnoff's from Vegas. Dick Dugarin works out of, I don't know if he's from, I don't think he's actually from Vegas, but he works out of Vegas. Better put. Dick Dugarin, old Texas lawyer. He did really well with Morris Black, got Durst off an impossible case. Morris Black, that was some black magic he did on the jury in that case. And one of those jurors became another accomplice that helped, and him and his wife helped Robert Durst, again, evade the law. You can see that it's a little piece of the story I didn't know till the Jinx Part 2. I just didn't know it. So most of everything I learned about this case, I learned just from watching the Jinx and watching the entire trial. It was wild. So we'll come back and watch. We'll watch the rest of, I don't know, maybe tomorrow morning. I don't know. But just like a hangout. I don't know. Just having some fun on this channel. very casual, very casual, a very casual hangout. I wanted to talk about this story. You know, my point is that all these killers do very little, that they have an incredible amount of help from other people. Have you ever heard the devil's advocate or the devil's helper? That is true in true crime. All these people, these psychopathic murderers that I talk about on this channel, always get an incredible amount of help from other people. And it's not always that they're rich. Psychopaths are incredibly charismatic, and they attract like-minded people who are also psychopaths, who want excitement, want to break the law. They invite into their lives people with personality disorders of all types, help them and support them, and work to free them, and don't care how they're victimizing the family, re-victimizing the family, I'd say. It's amazing. And what's also amazing is how similar all these personality types are. Some are a little smarter. Durst was one of the smarter killers. But they just don't care. You know, they're not smart enough to fully cover up their tracks. They don't care. They do what they do because they want to. I mean, there's no real good reason to kill. I mean, all this stuff about getting in the mind of a killer, it's a part of true crime I really loathe. People kill because they want to. I mean, it's not some deep, I don't know. I find that, I mean, if we're going to talk about the devil's helper, I find that so often people in the mental health field become the devil's helper in these cases and minimize the real dark qualities of these personalities that we talk about. All right. That's what I have to say. Enjoy Grift. I don't think she's making much money. I wonder who's buying these cards for, what, $3 each? But she's still grifting off of Durst's name. And the Jinx is popular, but not this particular. It was a really rare group of people that actually watched this trial. It's a very long trial. So you need a lot of a long, slow-moving trial. Fascinating trial, but slow-moving. With one jaw dropper after the next. But it's a certain personality type that watched the Durst trial, and a lot of people didn't. The Jinx is more popular than the Durst, than Robert Durst's trial. Like the things he did outside of court, I think got more attention than actual court cases themselves. Although Morris Black was pretty watched, I think. It was people couldn't believe the verdict on that he got away. I mean, he admitted to killing a man and dismembering him, and they were like, no probs. I think he got just like some kind of probation and time served for that. It was ridiculous. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Please support the channel. I have some thank yous coming up tomorrow. Maybe we'll return to something maybe more serious, but we might do like another hangout just to touch base, and then maybe a more serious go over some, maybe return to Karen Reed, maybe some other case. I don't know. Do something else tomorrow, but we might have another hangout where we watch I'd love to watch the end of this with you guys. Thanks so much for listening. I'll do thank yous tomorrow at 6, but great way to support the channel. It's always Patreon, Buy Me a Coffee, Venmo. Please share. Thank you to everyone who shared my episodes. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing my shorts. I'm not a platform. I don't have a PR agency. So I appreciate everyone who shares my work. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.
Mic check, Roberta strides through the static haze. True crime Gotham where the shadows play their plays. Fraudsters fold when a spotlight beams. Fact-focused queen busting propaganda schemes. Glass shatter lies echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing, she's the anti-fraud light. Hard task warrior, dissecting state and defense. Twisted innocence, claims breaking pretense. Gotham's truth seeker cuts clean with the blade. Facts in the forefront, no justice gets swayed. Cold facts drip heavy, real talk unfurls. Cracking cases open like oysters with pearls. Innocence gimmicks crumble to dust in the wind. For victims, her creed, justice till the end. Headphones blazing, she drops heavy artillery. Narratives twisted, meet blunt object civility. Roberta got receipts that unravel the ploy. Exposing the lies these fraudsters deploy. Glass shatters lies, echoes through the streets. Standing for victims, giving voice their beats. NYC pulse, truth sharp as night. Roberta exposing, she's the anti-fraud light.